Hello friends, welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. This video is going to be a quick run through, I hope, of quite a few cards. I got a delivery from COMC and also ran by the LCS, and always want to just support my local guy and pick up a few cards when I can and chat with him for a bit. So I want to share all of that, and also I've got my shirt on. People comment on the shirt. I have too many baseball cards. They're like, do you? Is that possible? There's more to it. I just have a tendency to lean forward. Yeah, said no one ever. So, just to clarify, when you see the I have too many baseball cards quote, it is quoted by no one ever. So, let me flip this thing around. I'm going to do rapid fire and just show everything I picked up. I'll start off with the LCS. LCS was pretty cool because I picked everything up. I took it up to him and said, what do you think? And he counted up. He's like, I got 26 on this. I thought for sure he was going to say 20 bucks. And he's like, let's do 18. I like random numbers. I'm like, I like that. So I gave him one bill and got two back. That was a win. And then COMC was a little bit more than that because there's a couple of, decently priced cards in there. But a lot of them are 50 centers too and 30 centers and stuff like that. So run through them pretty quickly here. Let me get this thing flipped around and we'll check them out. Thanks. All right, friends, like I said, I'm going to kick it off with the LCS pickups. These two are actually from the LCS. The Dale Murphy, I just wanted to get something that was unique. I like those little All-Star inserts. I think those came in the, were they rack packs or something maybe? I remember buying those in stores, like those three hanging ones you'd see hanging on a hook, and you grab those, and those are always cool because you could actually see the All-Star card and then maybe 5 other cards you're going to get. So that was always like a treat to have a little preview, and you could pick the one that had maybe a card or two you were really looking for. And 71 Topps Norm Cash, I thought that was pretty cool. Just, not a Norm Cash collector per se, but again, he's had a few monster seasons and was definitely a very good player, so thought I'd add those couple. All right. Pick this thing up. I don't even know what year it is. I don't really care. I just love the image and wanted to add something like that to the collection. Cal Ripken Members Choice Stadium Club. I feel like I didn't really get Members Choice back in the day, so when I see those, I still grab them. And then really it is just picking up some random stuff. So 83 Fleer Fergie. 83 Topps of the Goose. Gossage's stuff is always cool. This for me was like an epic 80s set. So Ricky Henderson. I think I have all of these that I just picked up, but for whatever reason, 84 Donruss still just triggers me. And Jim Rice. I just always think it's like elusive, even though it's 80s. Tom Seaver. Snagged a Reggie. They're all pretty good shape. The way he keeps them, it's kind of like bulk boxing and stuff like that. But Pete Rose, go Mike Schmidt, snagged a Paul Molitor. Molitor's so underrated. Amazing player. Let's see, 84 Topps. Got the Darryl Strawberry rookie. Did double check. I have at least one. I don't know how many of them I have, but Sandberg second year. That was my guy for sure back in that era. Schmidt. This one I picked up because there was a challenge out there, and I think I probably missed the opportunity to actually contribute, but question of like craziest batting stances, best batting stances. Juan Samuel always stood out to me. Actually, I tried to keep the stickers, took them off the little case itself, but I put them on the back just so I could track down, so this was almost a third off of a quarter, so that cost me like 18 cents. These are 85 Donruss Diamond Kings, so you got Ryan Sandberg, I'll always take one of him, and Cal Ripken. I thought Cal was pretty cool. A little like batting stance in there, it's kind of neat. 85 Topps. Again, I see a Sandberg. I almost feel obligated to pick it up. Another Oral Hershiser rookie. I'll always take one of those for pennies on the dollar. And then the two quote-unquote big ones. Snagged another 72 tops of Raleigh Fingers. Thought that one was decent. And it was a big one for this purchase. That was $3. Minus a third, so it was like $2. And the last one, you know, I'm doing all these like Hall of Fame birthdays and things, so it's a guy that probably will get a birthday celebration, even though he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he definitely could be. And it is not Pat Zachary, not Bob McClure, not Ron, what was it, Dressler? It's Ron Guidry. So Guidry's careers. Yeah, it's interesting doing these Hall of Fame birthdays because you realize some of the guys went Tommy John model and were just pretty gosh darn good for a really long time, but didn't have those seasons where you're like, wow, that was the year. And then you have other guys like Ron Guidry that you have the seasons where you're like, wow, that was the year. But they don't have the sustained, you know, years and years and years. And it's funny how many people, when you post these, will say, like, he should be in because, and someone else will be like, he really wasn't X. You know, Guidry was great, but not for long enough. John was great, but didn't have the peak. So it's really interesting just to see how folks' mindsets kind of shift and what their standard is of a borderline Hall of Famer and should they or should they not be in. All right, let's jump over to the COMC delivery. I think there's actually a few more cards in that than there was in the LCS. First one, I'm going to go get the one oversized item shown. It's pretty cool. Again, if you use COMC right, you just keep buy it, don't deliver it, and just wait, and eventually you get shipping for not crazy. Let's see, this is 76. I'll have to go back and actually look at the year. So, pretty cool though. These discs are neat. I think that would make sense, right? He's with Cleveland, 75, 76, that era. Does it say on here? No? Darn. So, thought that was neat. And then, really just a bunch of kind of normal cards. I usually end up buying like 1 or 2, 3 like decent cards. And then kind of fill it in. You know, if I have $10 left, I'll end up picking up like 12 cards that I just think are fun and, you know, no big deal for, you know, change. Again, always going to get a Dale Murphy if I can. So these the highlights, player of the month stuff and things like that, I like it because the images are just so neat. So pretty cool. This one is a 1988 KB Tony Gwynn. It's in the 80s when I can find little offshoots, you know, toy manufacturers and stores and regional issues and stuff like that. I jump at it. I got 370 the last year. 82 walks, 35 strikeouts, 56 stolen bases. Pretty solid year. Back to the All-Star kind of idea. Saw a Strawberry. So I think it's an 85 issue since it says 84 All-Star. Did it say on there? Yeah, 85. So that's what his second year. He's got an 83 tops, like traded card, so I don't know. A couple David Cones. Got like a 92 Stadium Club. I grabbed that because I like David Cone. I grabbed that because it's cool to see pitchers hitting. I don't think I had that before. And another one, 1988 Toys R Us. So we got KB, we got Toys R Us. Aaron's feeling like he's 10 and 11 again, so that's kind of fun. But always grab a David Cone. That was a cool image too. I like that era Mets jersey and stuff. It's neat. Let's jump over to next player. What is this? 91 Stadium Club. Another one of those, just like the Ripken, where it's something a little bit different. So a charter member. What is a charter member of, to be honest? Sandberg is NL home run champ. So pretty fun. 85 Fleer, Again, it's almost that like obligation. I see a Sandberg that would have been almost like a chase card for, what was it, 8-year-old Aaron. Gotta snag it. This one, legit, when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it like just brought back memories of being a kid. This next one I wanted as a kid and couldn't find because we didn't have online, we didn't have all these different resources. It's a 1985 sticker. I remember seeing this image. I want to see if we put these into books maybe. And I think I saw the image and I was like, man, I wish I could get that, but I swear they just didn't ship it to Chicago. I don't know. I feel like I had quite a few of these and could not find the Sandberg, and I just thought that was the coolest image of him. And I just wanted it. And as I was just scrolling through COMC, I was like, dang it, man, it was like just instant flashback to, you know, being 8 and not finding that and being so frustrated. So almost 40 years later, feel different about the world today. Will Clark, another one of those borderline guys, as I'm doing all this, you know, Hall of Fame, should they be in, should they be not? 86 tops. Traded Will Clark. 86 Fleer update. I remember that being a big deal for a while. He definitely had the peak to be Hall of Fame worthy. These are neat. Anytime you find things like that where you get like these like subsets where they'll do the, you know, all-stars or best players or whatever. This is a Fleer 87, so it's still really considered his rookie. The 86 is kind of the XRC pre-rookie stuff. 87 Fleer, I feel like that was probably his best of his main rookie cards. So I always liked that. Will Clark, definitely. Griffey Jr., I don't know who you want to say had the best swing, but if you don't put Will Clark in the discussion, something's going crooked. Next guy, I think, had the most hits in the 90s, if you know who that is. And again, doing these birthdays, I realized that I needed to represent him in my collection a little bit more significantly. So, Mark Grace, that looks like it's a poster, right? Except it's a card. But how cool is that? So it's a 1990 issue. So I thought that was pretty cool. Something you don't see every day. Toys R Us. Back to the toy store stuff. Cool image of Grace. So it's nice that they're like legit cards, or not just blank backs, or they were lame. They put some real work into those and made them decent. 89 is kind of his rookie. 88 was his like pre-rookie XRC. I remember I would always seeing that in Beckett. 88 Fleer. So it's an update. U77 is the number. 88 Score. So again, you only get minor league stats on that. It's 80T, so traded set. And then 88 Tops. I think that might be the best looking, even though 88 Tops to me is a little vanilla. I like that image of him. 42T. So picked up a whole run of Grace pre-rookies. And then I think as we start looking and realizing, we realize we can also pick up minor league options. So Mark Grace with the Iowa Cubs. So same stats as the traded update stuff. So it's an 88 issue. And then another one that's also 88, it appears. Iowa Cubs. These feel like they were minor league card quality. But you still get the stats and some of the good stuff on the back. Alright, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. This one I picked up because it's my favorite set in the 80s, and it's a kind of a flashback, which I think is great for the hobby. So, Stan Musial, it's a mini, which is interesting. I don't even know if I knew that when I picked it out, but getting a Musial is awesome, and making it look like 87 Topps is super cool for me. They didn't list out every year, they just did kind of like career totals, but I thought that was cool. So, snagged that for not much. 84 star Larry Bird, regular season stats. Very rarely do I grab basketball cards these days, but I'll take a Larry Bird. Next one is a 1962 Post. Literally like a few bucks. Frank Robinson. Still not getting the respect. Look at that. Look at that season. 37 homers, 124 RBI, 323. Even 7 triples, 33 doubles. Like, he's a beast. This one's for Jason. Saw this and I was like, I don't think I have that. And that actually is a really fun card. 53 Topps. Gotta snag a Sherm Lawler in there, right? Cool image. Hey, look out. It landed flat. That's why we use cases, right? Actually, there's like a reason not to slab it. If I had a slab, it might have cracked. Hard case just protects it. Alright, last two. This one is a Mecca Cigarettes. I'll have to double check the year. I didn't prep for this by detailing everything out, but it's really for who it is. I don't really as much care what the exact year is, but it's old. I've been really fascinated with the Black Sox story and with them kind of having the lifetime ban lifted recently. That's been maybe more of a hobby topic, but just kind of fascinated diving in. So A. Battelle had some involvement in kind of a, non-baseball but more gambling side way. So when I see an A. Battelle item that's super affordable, I'm like, yeah, what the heck? And the last one, it was the biggest of the group. This is my first card of the player named on it, but it's not my first card of the actual player. This is a Venezuelan Winter League, I believe it is. Pre-rookie status of good old Henry Cofton. It's Kenny Lofton. How that translated from Kenny Lofton to Henry Cofton. It's like, that's something my dad would have done me growing up when we were doing like baseball quizzes. Rhymes with Henry Cofton. Like, oh, Kenny Lofton. All right, got it. I just thought that was, you could tell it's a youthful Kenny, but he would have grown up 15 minutes, 10 minutes from my house, something like that. So, super local kid. I think Hall of Fame worthy. Amazing leadoff hitter. He's another one that, like, he was just gosh darn good for a really long time and didn't necessarily, I mean, especially the era he played in, didn't have MVP seasons. He had some seasons that were clearly all-star. He was the, one of the best in the league, but MVP, no. Blank back. Decently big card, and it's in good shape. So I'm not trying to like deep dive on this video, but this is the one big card I think out of the whole group that I put a few bucks into. So if he ever gets in, that would probably be his best of the best cards. Obviously he was playing during kind of a overproduced era of cards, so to pick something up that's a little tougher that maybe everybody hasn't seen and maybe everyone doesn't have is cool. So that's why I jumped at that one. But yeah, a whole bunch of pickups. That's probably 50 cards in 20 minutes. So hopefully I went rapid enough to keep it interesting. So COMC, LCS, keep out there, whether your LCS is online, so you don't have anything close by, or if you do, get those relationships. You will find they work with you. I think a good LCS owner is going to appreciate the fact they see you every, whether it's every week or every quarter, just to stop in and drop $20 and spend some time and chat and see how they're doing. It's good stuff. So I will catch up with y'all on the next video. Take care.